Hey guys, and welcome back to my weekly reading vlog where every time I finish a book, I hop on the camera and let you know my thoughts and feelings about it, and then let you know what I'm going to be reading next. And it's also Saturday because, yes, it took me a whole week to read Leviathan Wakes by James S. A. Corey, the first book in the Expanse series. So, this series is an adult science fiction series, and in this particular book, it's a dual perspective book. And one of the perspectives is Jim Holden, and he is an XO on a spaceship who investigates a distress signal and then ends up finding out a secret of sorts that he kind of wished he didn't know because it's gonna like change everything, right? And then there's Detective Miller is our other perspective, and he has been charged with finding a missing person. And then, of course, their paths cross, and everything goes from there. Um, so here's the thing. The world building on this was actually fairly interesting. I thought it was cool to see like the author's vision of like what settlement of our solar system would actually look like. I thought that was very interesting. I didn't completely understand it because every time there was an explanation, it felt very science heavy. And I don't know if that's because like I'm just super unfamiliar with the science involved or what, but I didn't completely understand it. It was okay because like I got the gist enough that it really didn't matter. But I don't know if any of it's accurate. So that's exciting. The politics of the situation are actually very interesting as well. But again, some of that ended up relying upon the science that I didn't quite understand. Um, Neither, like me not understanding the science of it, really didn't hinder my ability to understand the story because, like, you can still get big picture and the gist. It's just when we get into fine details that I was just like, I mean, I guess I'm going to take your word for it that that's how that works. So overall, I liked it. I just didn't completely follow all of the details. The plot was great. I actually really liked the plot. Um, Apart from one hiccup near the end, I thought it was excellent. It is a slow moving plot. It's one of those where you kind of we have a prologue and we see a thing and you get to the end and you're like, what did I just read? And then you start in with the dual perspective between Holden and Miller, but they don't know what's going on. Like the prologue, we know we're going to get there to where they're figuring out that stuff too, but it takes a while. And so they're doing all of their preliminary stuff and peeling back the layers until we can finally get to the stuff in the prologue. And that's just by its very nature slow. So like the individual scenes were pretty fast to read, but the actual overarching plot did kind of plod along. There, like I said, there was one point at the end that I was actually like with the plot that I was very frustrated because it hinged upon a character and their arc that I really didn't appreciate. But like up until that point and then directly afterwards, I liked it all. So it was just like I I took a moment to like complain to my spouse and I rolled my eyes and then I got back into the story. Um but I think that the weakest part of this book is actually the characters. So part of it is that of the two perspectives that we get, I really liked one of them. And the other, I really did not. And part of it was because that the particular character arc that character was going on was one I do not like, and I've seen done before better than it was done in this book. So it's like it was it was one of those things where it's like I don't even like this, but you also didn't even do it that well. So I didn't really like that. Um, but all the other characters, honestly, in this book just fell flat. Like, I just didn't care. Um, Even, okay, so Holden is the XO, and he ends up with a crew, and there's a handful of, the crew. And there are two people in his crew that I could not tell apart until halfway through the book. And this is 560 pages. And halfway through the book, I was just like, I finally started to get which one was which. That's like how bland these characters are. They kind of fulfill their role, and that's really all they do. The other thing I will say is that there's only two major females in this entire book. And neither of them, they both ended up falling into some pretty big stereotypes. So I really did not appreciate that. So I ended up everything, but again, like one of the perspectives that we had, I really, really liked them. So yeah, very mixed feelings all over the place. It's like the world building was fine. The characters were the weakest part. Most of the plot was okay, but there was this whole character arc that I didn't like, and the ending linchpin was reliant upon it. And like, what do you do with that? So I think that where I'm ending up with rating this book is like 3.75. It was solid enough that I liked the plot enough. And what happened with the characters makes me think that I will appreciate them more in the next book. So I think I will pick up the next book in the series. That's where I kind of landed. I didn't love this book, but I liked it well enough to want to continue the series and see where we go. And now that I know kind of like the style of this book, when I get to the second book, I'll have better expectations too. So yeah, overall, I liked it. I did not love this book though. There was just, yeah. But I can hope that the next one will do better things. So next I am going to go ahead and pick up The Rage of Dragons by Evan Winter. So this book follows our main character of Tao, who grows up in a society that has been at war for centuries. And so all his culture surrounds this idea that they're always at war and always going to be at war. There is dragons in this. I don't remember exactly how they figure into it. And then something happens where Tao decides that he needs to seek revenge, and this is a story of his revenge. Now, I am a little wary going into this because I have heard some very, very mixed things. The latest review that I watched, which was from Tammy Tries to Read, is that the first 100 pages are great, the last 100 pages are great, the 300 pages in the middle kind of suck. And she said why they kind of suck. And I know that if I'm not sucked in by the first 100 pages, that when I get to that middle part, that I'm probably going to be really unhappy. So we shall see how this book goes. I might get completely sucked in and be able to slog through the middle, but we shall see. I know that's not a great. I wish I were a little bit more excited about that book, but it is, from what I can tell, a little bit polarizing. And then lastly, yeah, I haven't made any progress on this. This is the Fantasy Magazine special issue entitled People of Color Destroy Fantasy. I haven't made any progress on this. So, and that's okay. This one is actually okay. I do want to make sure that I am reading all my novels before the end of the month, because I know if I push those into December, I'm going to feel very overwhelmed and stressed out. But this is such a short read, and it's short stories that I can more easily get through. So I'm okay with this being the thing that I haven't been reading. But I'm hoping next week, you guys, I should hopefully have a better update for you on this one. But that's it. I read one book this week, and I still feel like that's such an achievement. But yeah, that's all I have for this week. So until next time, guys, have happy reading, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.